Hi guys, this video is about adaptations and I'm going to tell you some examples as well. So an adaptation is an inherited trait that helps an organism survive in its environment. And a couple important parts about this is inherited. A lot of the times we think of adapting as in like, oh, I'm in 7th grade instead of 6th grade, so I have to adapt to going to lots of different classes, right? So you change how you live your life a little bit to kind of fit your environment or your circumstances better. But that's not what we mean when we talk about adaptations in science. What we mean here is something that the organism is born with, something that's in its DNA. So for example, this duck, its feet are like flippers. So when it is swimming around in the water, it can move really easily because its feet can push a lot of water and help it to move quickly. That's something that the duck was born with. It didn't just decide to grow flippery feet. It was born with that, right? Another example would be like a giraffe. It's not like a giraffe was born with a short neck and then all of a sudden one day it was like, I could reach the leaves in the top of the trees better if I had a long neck, and then it just stretched its neck out. That's not how it happened. People used to think that a really long time ago. But in reality, the giraffe was born with a long neck, and because it had a long neck, it could survive better, and then it had offspring with long necks, and then the necks just got longer over time because the ones with the longest necks survive better. We will do other videos about that, but the main thing you need to know for this video anyways is that an adaptation is an inherited trait that they're born with. And it helps the organism survive in its environment. So like these webbed feet help the duck in like a pond or a lake, but it wouldn't help the duck in another environment like a desert, right? But that's okay because the duck doesn't live in the desert. So it does help the organism survive in its own environment. It probably wouldn't help it in a different environment. Anyways, let's talk about some more examples. The mesquite tree has super long roots because it lives in the desert, and that way the long roots can reach the water really deep down in the ground since the desert doesn't have a lot of rain. So that's an adaptation that's just part of the mesquite tree's DNA, and it helps it survive in the desert. It definitely wouldn't need that in the rainforest, but that's okay because it lives in the desert, so that's an important adaptation for that plant. Here we have a leaf bug. An adaptation that it has is camouflage because it looks just like a leaf, so predators hopefully won't eat it because they won't notice it. They'll think that it's a leaf. And again, that's something that it was born with. It's inherited. And then sometimes adaptations are behaviors, like birds migrate in the winter to a warmer climate because they are better adapted for a warm climate. So when the environment they live in suddenly starts getting cold in the winter, they need to get out of there and go somewhere that they're better adapted for. So migration is a good adaptation, and it's a behavioral one. It's something that they do instinctively, right? And yep, that's the end. So those are some examples of adaptations. Remember, I'm going to go back to the definition. It's an inherited trait that helps an organism survive in its environment. And good luck on the test.